during engineering, I used to see my father as well. He used to, obviously export ka business hai. So raat bhar he used to stay on calls. He used to talk to the customers. He used to understand their requirements, and things were really personal between him and the customer as well. It was
Hmm.
they used to exchange pleasantries. आज अगर यूएस में कोई बंदा बात कर बैठा है, अब
Hmm.
my father used to tell him good morning and good evening at the same time, क्योंकि obviously यहाँ पे good evening है, वहाँ पे good morning है.
Hi, hello, namaste to all my listeners. I'm your host, Sarthak Varshney, and I welcome you all to the Balls of Steel show, where you get an insight into the business mindset of the entrepreneurs. Dhandho ni Soch. Our today's guest is Mr. Anirudh Rathi. Hi, Anirudh.
Hi Sarthak, how are you?
How are you? I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right. Tell
That's
me.
great. So, how's this Unlock 2.0 coming out for you?
Unlock, actually in Bangalore, I stay in Bangalore, and in
Right,
Bangalore there's been lockdown again, and due
right,
to rising number of cases. So apart from that, we're
right.
still working because our factory requires uh, to run. That's why we're still working partially, at least.
Right.
Yeah,
Right, right.
that's about.
Okay, so Anirudh, moving on, what is the business that you are into because of which we're gonna say that you've got the balls of steel?
So we started this company called Sofa Clinic, and right now we are in you know
Mm-hmm.
undergoing a change in terms of the branding. So we are calling it as lit up space. So we are into
Okay.
refurbishing of home and home improvement uh, services. It's called. So we are going into various refurbishing of various products like sofa furniture,
Mm-hmm.
wardrobe, bathroom renovation, kitchen renovation, and things which are not uh, done by companies and which are very unorganized. This sector is
Mm-hmm.
pretty unorganized, and we are organizing the entire sector, giving it a very much people who want to renovate their homes without the hassles and without the calling carpenter wala and uh, jha- painting wala. So they can come
Mm-hmm.
down to one particular place that is called lit up space.
Okay, okay, that sounds very interesting, Anirudh. So, okay, so Anirudh, why don't you start from the very beginning and tell us everything in detail till the current point at which you are of your journey and give us complete insight in detail.
So first of all, I'm born and brought up in Bangalore, and I've done my engineering in electrical and electronics field, and
Right.
then I started working in my family business, and it was in textiles, export and import house, and
Okay.
after that I uh, during that time I wanted to do something of my own, and it was I learned the tricks of the trade, and then I started uh, I went to IIM Bangalore for a management program, and
Mm-hmm.
there I learned the what's the difference between entrepreneurship and being a businessman. So an entrepreneur
Okay.
thinks differently than a businessman, right?
Right.
So there's a saying in within our peer group at IIMB that
Mm-hmm.
ideas are cheap, inspiration is everywhere, initiatives are rare, but implementation is everything. So
Right.
you might have the bestest of best idea, but you need to implement that.
Right.
So it was during my time at IIM Bangalore that I thought about doing something of my own, getting a venture which bootstrapped, and then uh, I I was searching what to do. I had plenty of ideas, and one of my schoolmates, uh, he was in Thailand, and he came back to Bangalore, and we thought of doing many things. So ultimately, this idea stuck to us that furniture refurbishing is the idea which can, uh, we can do something about, and we can make people uh, go through the, the hassles which they are going through of refurbishing their furniture a lot lesser.
Mm-hmm.
So that started, and then we at Lit Up Space carry forward the same mentality, same thing, where you don't have to go through hassles of renovating your home. You can come to single stop shop where everything is lined up for you, and all, what do you say, pricing, right from the pricing to the, kind of suggestions we give, that also
Mm-hmm.
matters.
Right.
So ultimately, we are putting the entrepreneurship in the business rather than creating uh, a business which is solely focused on profits.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
I
that's
get
about.
it. So that's been your journey. That's quite a short journey. That is what you have tried to explain it, but we don't do short. Your journey is big, I would say. Right.
Sure.
So we'll start from the beginning and Anirudh, why don't you tell me something from your childhood first? You know what all you picked up from the childhood, because you told us right now that you come from a family business background, so it's pretty evident that the entrepreneurship and the business thing has got rubbed off in you, and that you have adopted that from your family itself. So why don't
Correct.
you take us back something from your childhood and tell us what did you inculcate from your childhood, looking at the business, looking at the parents, and whatever happened during that time. Give me more insights over that.
So, being from a Marwadi family, the business runs in our blood, right?
Right.
So we are over the years, whenever there was, we used to have summer holidays during school. I
Mm-hmm.
never, I mean, I used to go out to play as well, but I used to spend some time in the office as well to see how,
Mm-hmm.
the work is going on and how, accounts are there. I was not much interested in accounts. That's a different issue. I was more, uh, into science, but
Mm-hmm.
obviously accounts, I knew a lot of accounts before entering engineering as well. So that is one part of our family that finance I know from childhood. We have seen how people books are maintained, how how to talk to the customers, how to explain, how to get the marketing done. So once I joined the family business, it was not a uh, day night thing. It was easy transition uh, towards my entrepreneurial journey. And once
Right.
I started the family business, I started working full time. So it was the marketing. I had a lot of ideas for marketing and how to increase the sales and how to understand our customers' pain points better. So that was
Mm-hmm.
during the childhood. It was uh, pretty much ingrained from there. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and also during this thing, summer holidays, we used to go to office, obviously have a casual chat with all the employees, understand and be friendly to the employees as well, because ultimately they are also working for the company, and
Right.
we used to have a lot of interactions with them. We used to play during, a lot of playtime was there, and it was pretty. It's a family organization we had, so that
Mm-hmm.
has spilled over into my own venture as well. And we treat all our employees very well, and we, ask them to take initiatives if they are, uh, if they want to do try out new things. If suppose my sales manager, he wants to try out new things, he wants to enable a process, so
Right.
we encourage him, we take a mock test, and then we go ahead with the process. So it's
Right.
entirely encouraging people to be, uh, rather than entrepreneurs, be intrapreneurs, like being a head on themselves and managing those roles in the company. So
Okay.
that
Okay.
is a very important thing I learned from childhood. And also, one more thing I want to add is,
Mm-hmm.
during my engineering, once after, like, say, second year or so, it was
Right.
not all rosy picture in engineering. I used to have few backlogs in the semester exams.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but I understood one thing, that engineering is not my cup of tea. I did pass out. I did get a degree, but
Mm-hmm.
what I understood is, being an entrepreneur is my journey, which I can fulfill from now, because I didn't see myself as a technical guy working in big factories. I didn't see myself there. I wanted myself to have my own setup, to understand the how, bring in new processes, bring in new uh, procedures, and bringing new categories as well. So what we are doing is uh, bringing a new category onto itself. So
Mm-hmm.
it's
Right.
a very unorganized industry, and we are organizing it from scratch. So that is our main aim right now as well.
Okay. Okay. So, moving forward a bit in the journey, I would say कि यार you belong to a Marwadi family, and as we all know that Marwadis are known for business all
Hmm.
over India,
Correct.
right? So, I mean, now also you do would know, since you're also an engineer and everything, that business करने के लिए, even for doing the dhanda, you really don't need sort of education, right? So
Correct.
what was the decision behind choosing engineering? Was it family pressure? Was it पढ़ना है करना है graduation खत्म करनी है? What was it like? Why did you get into engineering? Why only engineering? Why not something else also?
Yeah, interesting question. Sarthak, actually, from beginning, actually, I would not say family pressure or peer pressure or whatnot, because
Mm-hmm.
in India, generally, I'm not telling anything against the education system, but it's unsaid rule, right? That
Mm-hmm.
you have to either choose commerce or science.
Mm-hmm.
So I was not so inclined towards commerce, because my sister being an engineer, my elder sister is an engineer. So I was really uh, inspired by that. That she's an engineer, and she's working in a software company. She used to travel all around the world, and by that
Right.
I got sort of inspired that, okay, I can also become an engineer and start working in a software company, because as you know, Bangalore is a software capital, and
Right.
we have a lot of engineers here, but only thing
Right.
is, there are only software engineers who end up from other streams into software.
Mm-hmm.
So me being a triple E engineer, like a electronics and electrical engineer, it was obviously I'm not so inclined towards software at end of my engineering. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I was not into technical stuff as well. So my own this thing was that uh, I'm not really interested in engineering because it was sort of a no-brainer at the end of the engineering. So
Right.
it was just by accident I became an engineer, and then it's sort of I had to start from scratch and search my passion, where exactly my passion lies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That's quite interesting because now I have an interesting question on this part. That
Mhm.
is, कि आई मीन या 2-3 चीज़ें होती हैं लाइफ में, है ना? दैट either all of our life is, I mean, whatever we do in our working age, that is from late teenage to the till middle age crisis, or what we call it around. In the working age, what we do, that is majorly somewhere inspired what we see in the young age, right?
Correct.
And I don't really know, like, if there were many struggles that, or maybe that you saw in the family, because you haven't mentioned anything of that sort yet to us,
Mhm.
right? So I don't know if there were a lot of struggles that you saw your parents go through in terms of setting up the business, or maybe their parents, or anything of that sort.
Mhm.
So maybe if that was not there, and it was a good life that you had initially, so there might be other hobbies that you would have gone through, ki, swimming, sports, arts, or something of that sort.
Mhm.
वो भी होता है, एंड समय हमारा मूड बदलता है कि ठीक है, आई बिकम अ फोटोग्राफर, एंड अ गिटारिस्ट, और
Correct.
फुटबॉलर, व्हाटएवर ऑफ दैट सॉर्ट, एंड उसके हिसाब से वी स्टार्ट चूजिंग. सो
Mhm.
उन चीजों ने कभी आपको अलाइन नहीं किया कि यार मैं इंजीनियरिंग करता हूँ, बिकॉज द वे व्हाट आई हैव लिसन्ड राइट नाउ, आई फिगर आउट दैट यू काइंड ऑफ वेंट विद द फ्लो, राइट? इंजीनियरिंग
Correct.
के साथ इंजीनियरिंग कर लिया आपने, ठीक
कर
है,
लिया.
एंड
Exactly.
देन यू यूज्ड द 4 years ऑफ योर इंजीनियरिंग टू फिगर आउट कि बॉस मैंने जिंदगी में करना क्या है,
Correct.
राइट?
Exactly.
राइट,
So
सो दैट इज व्हेन यू स्टार्ट रियलाइजिंग. तो मुझे तो पूछना है यहाँ पे आपसे कि यार, in your childhood it could have been like any other co-curricular activity that you might have gone through, but something entrepreneurship पे तो आप business देख ही रहते घर पे, ठीक है,
correct.
import export तो आप देख ही रहते.
Mhm.
तो during the engineering what exactly happened in with you, what because engineering में खुली छूट होती है, honestly अगर
Correct.
हम बात करें, engineering पूरी खुली छूट है एक इंजीनियर को, राइट? वो कुछ
True.
भी कर सकता है जाके, है ना?
Mm.
He could be a musician, he could be a manufacturer, he could be a software developer, he could be
Correct.
another entrepreneur, he could be anything and everything he wants to do,
Everything. Yeah.
राइट? तो आपके साथ उस 4 साल में ऐसा क्या हुआ जिसमें मैं बोल सकता हूँ कि आपका माइंडसेट फ्रेम हुआ होगा इन टर्म्स ऑफ एन एज़ एन एंटरप्रेन्योर, कि यार मैंने इसके बाद ये करना है, या फिर उन
Mhm.
4 साल में भी नहीं हुआ, उसके बाद हुआ था? तो 4 साल में व्हाट डिड योर ब्रेन एक्टिविटी गो थ्रू व्हाइल यू वर ट्राइंग टू फिगर आउट योर लाइफ, एंड व्हाट वुड यू बी डूइंग? बिकॉज़
So,
आपके पास एक सारी डॉट काफ़ी सारी हैं.
mhm. Actually, it's a very intriguing question. I didn't share this earlier, but
हुँ,
yeah,
हुँ.
हम लोग के family में uh, it was initial struggle when I was like I'm going to when I was born, right? So
राइट,
my father used to run a biscuit factory, ठीक है,
ओके,
and his journey is a in brief I'll just tell you his journey that
श्योर.
he used to work till 2 in the night, and then he used to come back home and then go back to the factory by 6 a.m. in the morning. So his struggles were you know enormous, and the kind of
राइट.
struggle he did and way he set up the family business was
हुँ, हुँ.
something which inspired me to you know take business ahead, because uh, obviously business needs to be, if I'm not going to take the business ahead, then business will stop and suffer fate of millions of businesses which sort of drop ahead, right?
राइट.
And during engineering times as well, I used to there were these you know uh, garment stock lots, if I
हुँ,
may call. So क्या होता
राइट.
है कि सीधा फैक्ट्री से we get lot of jeans, t-shirts and all sorts of things.
हाँ,
So
हाँ.
and I used to sell that in in college. I used to sell all that, like I used to sell to my classmates and college mates, and I used to make some kind of money in that. So समझो,
Right.
there was hundred of shirts which I picked up from a factory, and I used to sell it. I was buying it for 250. I sold it for 350. So I used to make some money, and I used to understand the customer's intention of buying that shirt, and
Mm-hmm.
understanding what the market is, and how the
Right.
customer can be, coaxed into buying. So it was like a peer pressure buying. इन कॉलेज
Mm-hmm.
क्या होता है कि अरे यार वो भी शर्ट खरीद रहा है, लेट्स बाय एज वेल. तो
Mm-hmm.
वो पीयर प्रेशर बाइंग भी होता है. एंड देर आर डिफरेंट rationalities in that as well. And one more thing, during engineering, I used to see my father as well. He used to, obviously export ka business hai, so raat bhar he used to stay on calls. He used to talk to the customers. He used to understand their requirements, and things were really personal between him and the customer as well. It was they used to exchange pleasantries. आज अगर यूएस में कोई बंदा बात कर बैठा है, अब
Mm-hmm.
my father used to tell him good morning and good evening at the same time, क्योंकि obviously यहाँ पे good evening है, वहाँ पे good morning है.
Mm-hmm.
So it was pretty, how to talk to customers. That was pretty intriguing, and it was pretty much a learning process. During engineering days, I used to do these lot of things, small things. कैसे, let's get extra, buck for, pocket money. So that was
Mm-hmm.
pretty much an inspiration, and it went forward, taking, and also it made me understand that anything can sell. Whatever product you have, it's only how you want to sell that matters.
Right. Right, right. So that's a good insight. So, matlab, what happened basically, you spent your 4 years figuring out some sort of business only, trying to make those extra money for the pocket, yeah,
Hmm.
apart from the pocket money. And I would say that kind of uh, compounded over the 4 years कि फिर आपने finally decide किया कि आप business करोगे.
Correct.
Right. Okay. So, moving on, Anirudh, didn't this happen with you कि बॉस घर वालों ने बोला हो कि यार नौकरी वोकरी कर लो, sit for the placements and get into job, or maybe you've been looking at your sister and then you're like, yeah, okay, that was one dream, now I want to take a switch, would I be able to do it or not? ऐसा कुछ नहीं हुआ?
I did sit for placements. I did um, go through interviews as well. But obviously, my mindset was already in the mode of, getting into business, doing something of my own. Uh,
Mhm.
it was pretty much, you know, a written rule that I have to get into business, because my mind was such that, even if I do job, I'll max to max do job for, say 1 year. After that, I
Mhm.
have to start again from scratch and get into business. So uh, if I didn't have balls of steel then, I would have
Right,
to have balls of steel after 1 year to
right.
get off the job and then get into business. Because once you start a job, you get very complacent and comfortable in your position. What I understand.
Mhm. Right,
Uh, in business, it's not like that. You're not comfortable at all. You might have a rosy day today. You might firefight tomorrow. So
right.
if you love challenges, and if you love playing with s- problems, business is the thing for you.
Right, absolutely right. Okay, so moving on, this is a good insight, I would say. Moving on, when you joined your family business, right?
Hmm.
Now, this is again a good point in your life, I would say, जहाँ पे बहुत सारे transitions हुए होंगे,
Correct.
right? Because first of all, you're the younger one, if I'm not wrong, right?
I'm the youngest, yes.
So you're the youngest. Okay. So first of all, you joined in there, right? Coming up with completely new ideas and everything. And your elders, your brothers, sisters probably might be in the business already before you, and your father is already
Correct.
there running the business, right? So what was this new welcoming like? Was it welcoming? Was it a bit of a hiccup कि boss, I have to adjust between a lot of stuff. पहले तो ऐसा नहीं होता था कि पहले तो probably it might be okay छोटे साहब आ गए or something like that, and right now there's a sort of adjustment, learning how the things are actually working, because right now I also have to put up orders out there and get the
Hmm.
things rolling. So what was this period like, and did you face any sort of generation gaps maybe between you and your brothers, or maybe you and your father, in terms of any decision that had to be taken or any new initiative that had to be taken? What was this period like?
So the moment I completed my engineering, one of my sisters, she was already in the business. She was
Mm-hmm.
handling all the designing and procurement, and obviously my father was there, and he used
Mm-hmm.
to do all the marketing and the sales. So once I joined the business, I was uh, I was seeing each and every department. I was not like, okay, I'm the boss here. I'm not like that. So I
Mm-hmm.
was seeing each and every department. I was sitting in. I was learning from the accountant as well. I was learning from the designing team. I was learning from the marketing, how the marketing is done, how the exhibitions are done, and how the sales ultimately nurturing the leads and the sales ultimately. Uh, and also, I spent a lot of time in learning these aspects. I didn't directly go into, okay, I want to start cracking deals. I didn't go like that. So I
Mm-hmm.
learned from department to department. First 2 years was pretty much uh, on the ground level, where I used to see the production as well. I went to our vendors from where we are a buying house, so we went to a lot of vendors, seeing how the production is, and understanding how much time it takes. So understanding each and every process, each and every aspect of the business is uh, pretty much what I did for first 2 years. I didn't uh, do any sort of selling. I didn't do sort of any sort of because this is important to understand the business, how
Right.
the business is run. After that,
Mm-hmm.
once I started, then I started looking into marketing, how effective our marketing is. So my full time focus after 2 years was into marketing. I used to travel for the shows, for the exhibitions. So we were into a lot of export of these fabrics and home furnishing uh, products. So we used to
Right.
exhibit all over the world. So my first, still remember in 2012, uh, my first exhibition was in Las Vegas, and it was pretty frightening to get out of the country for the first time, and I was alone that time. My father was like, you have to go solely. So uh, I went to Las Vegas. I tried a lot of things, and I obviously it was not so successful, but definitely after visiting Las Vegas, I understood when I met actual customers. So we have a lot of centers in US. So I went to Las Vegas, I went to Los Angeles, I went to New York. So when I went to Los Angeles, I understood what the customer in America wants actually. So they don't
Mm-hmm.
actually want, you know, exhibitions. They don't want anything. They want you to meet them first. So I met around 10, 15 people in uh, Los Angeles and New York as well. And that time I could have taken uh, a rental car, but I didn't. I wanted to make sure that I carry the samples with me. So I used to carry these two big boxes, two big luggages with me on the streets of LA. And LA roads are very big. They are like uh, you know, Bangalore cannot be compared to LA roads, but I used to walk on the roads and jump onto the buses. So I was pretty much like a sales person, average salesperson. What do you call?
Hmm. Hmm.
And it was pretty much understanding the market, and from then onwards, I picked up in the sales, and then I had a very successful show in the next year at in Frankfurt. Because of these learnings, we started doing a lot of exports of to Europe as well. So earlier,
Hmm.
Europe was not a big market, but after
Hmm.
that show in Frankfurt, we started our journey in Europe as well. And obviously, once uh, I got to know each and every aspect of the business, entire business was now handled. So I still handle my family business. Uh, my
Hmm.
family business is still being handled by me, and my own venture is come up as well.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. That's quite interesting. Yeah, that's quite interesting journey out there. Okay. So मुझे यहाँ पे दो dots connect करनी है अनिरुद्ध. One is where you told us that what the struggle that you faced there in US, and the initial 2 year time period where
correct.
you went from department to department, learning everything from the very groundwork, understanding the nuances of business in all the departments, so that you have all the know how everything is going in the business, so that you can run it in the future, that which you are doing right now. Right. And there was this
Right.
another thing that you did during your engineering part, that was selling the merchandise. Okay.
Correct.
So if I look at it from the bigger perspective, these both are almost like the groundwork, because कॉलेज में भी आप पर्सन टू पर्सन जाके ही बेचते हो, या तो
Correct.
एक हॉस्टल में रहते हो तो एक कमरे में सारा स्टॉक आ जाता है, and वहां से सारे आइटम्स बिक जाते हैं,
Exactly.
या फिर टेल देम कि बॉस यहाँ पे आ जाओ, एम्पी थिएटर आ जाओ, फलाना ढिमकाना आ जाओ, एंड you'll get it everything from there, right?
Correct.
That is one thing, that is again on the foot, I would say. And जो आपने किया, that was also on foot. So if I ask you to connect these two kind of dots and tell me what all was going in your mindset, probably in the later stage, that was at the business पर, जब आप business में सारे departments change कर रहे थे, so what did you really realize from your early age of doing the merchandise business at college? What realization did it instill in you?
So I understood one aspect, Sarthak, that if you
Hmm.
don't work in the grassroots level, if you don't
Hmm.
understand how to sell on foot, you won't understand sitting in a plush uh, office cabin, and you won't understand what the customer is going through. So,
Hmm.
basic difference between that is you have to know what the customer requires first. And if the
Hmm.
customer doesn't know what they require, then you have to show them what they require. You have to have sort of a pull marketing where they will get attracted to your, uh, you know, product or service.
Right. Right, 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 right.
And also, one
Okay.
more thing, it made me
Hmm.
grounded. It's not like everything is stays set for me, and I just have to run around and shout on people that you have to get the work done. It doesn't run that way. Businesses are changing, and we have to adapt to the businesses by understanding the very core aspect of the business.
Right, 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 right. I get it. That's nice, yeah, what you did. Okay, so now my next question that arises is कि आपने कुछ काम पहले अपने engineering में किया, कुछ का then you spent a good amount of, that is 2 years of time in your business as well.
Right.
Then why did you really decide to do MBA? Why did you really go to IIM for the course and everything? What was the mindset behind it? What did you really want to know? Because honestly, जब आपको 2 साल का experience हो गया, I don't think so there's anything better that you could have learned, but you definitely would have learned. But in my opinion, I want to know what was the thing going behind? Was it your decision, or what was it like? Why did you really go to IIM?
So, interesting question. I had my reasons, like, after 2 years spending understanding the business and successfully running for next 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
I sort of understood that the industry which I'm in, the textile industry, it was somehow uh, slagging towards sort of another recession, because what happens in textile is a lot of companies and a lot of buyers from our buyers as well, they started
Mm-hmm.
showing signs of some kind of respite, and they were not performing well as
Mm-hmm.
they used to. And a lot of, by that what happened is our orders also started dropping down. So I
Mm-hmm.
understood that, okay, am I doing something wrong? Am I not uh, you know understanding the customer? Am I not understanding what the product the market requires? Am I supplying outdated stuff or not? So I was literally at a plateau. So my thinking, I wanted some fresh perspective. uh, so I could have gone to a business counselor as well, but what
Mm-hmm.
I thought is better, let's you know take a do a course, do an executive MBA, and uh, think about what more I can add into the business. So during my time at IMB, I understood that business is uh, different, and being a businessman is different, and being an entrepreneur is different, right? So
Right.
those gates were opened only after I joined IMB, and it was one of the aspect where uh, they have this center called NSR cell, right? So
Okay.
I would like to talk about that. NSR cell
Sure.
is basically incubation for a lot of entrepreneurs who think they can benefit from the expertise of IIM Bangalore and their uh, wonderful professors. So
Mm-hmm.
those guys help you incubating any startups which you have. So we didn't go
Mm-hmm.
through NSR cell, but still, it sort of inspired me to think that, okay, I can start anything and I can get any sort of mentoring from the professors. And one of the professor, I did have long, lengthy chats with him as well during starting of my venture,
Mm-hmm.
uh, Sofa Clinic. So
Right.
he just told me one thing. If you think uh, there is a need in the market, is there is a gap in the market, then you need to go ahead with the venture. And he was pretty much uh, impressed by the kind of idea we had, and the kind of execution groundwork we did during starting of our new venture as well.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's about it.
So, okay. Now there's another thing that I wanna ask कि बहुत बार हमारे देश की नॉर्मल सी कहानी है, यू वुड डेफिनेटली नो दिस कि
हाँ,
बेटा पहले इंजीनियरिंग कर लो, इंजीनियरिंग के बाद एमबीए कर लो, एमबीए से पहले 1-2 साल नौकरी कर लो, जिससे कि तुम्हें एमबीए में समझ में आ जाए होता क्या है, ठीक है? सो राइट ये बात हमारे देश की चलती-फिरती कहानी है एंड बहुत
correct,
सारे इंजीनियर वो करते भी हैं, ठीक है? नॉट टू डिनाई द फैक्ट. सो you didn't really exactly do this, but you did somewhat of this part, I would say. आपने engineering करी, आपने
correct,
अपने business को समझा, you took it to a new, better height and new heights. Then you did this executive course. So
correct.
what did this instill in you? Because आपका तो experience तो आ गया था, and what was the fresh looks and everything that you got, and आपको समझ क्या आया फिर? I mean, I understand कि यार आप एक वहाँ पे fresh mindset के लिए गए थे, to get new air and new thinking. But what was the realization? Was it actually worth it? या फिर जो आपने suppose you thought 100, it happened 50. What
Mhm.
was it that happened? So tell me.
So Sarthak, I'm not sure if I can, if I get to the answer directly or not, but one
No
thing I
worries.
want to tell you is doing a course and understanding the professors and your peer group as well. So we had a fantastic peer group among ourselves, and we used to
Hmm.
discuss the case studies and understand. And there are a lot of other fun things also we did during our time at IIM Bangalore, and also there was a lot of these one-on-one chats with a lot of our peer groups that you won't get anywhere else. So understanding
Right.
their business, उनका कैसा, how they tackle a particular problem, how suppose अब ये particular course में we had a finance guru, we had a person who's right now cracking deals worth 300 crores, uh, and talking to him in real estate, and the kind of real estate situation in India is, it, right?
Right.
And he cracking such big deals in this gloomy environment, it will give you some sort of inspiration that you can also go out there. Business is not that bad, environment is not that bad. The only thing is the way and business is being done is different. You need to know
Hmm.
that. So वो एक important aspect I have learned. And also I have learned one thing, that if something doesn't work and you're trying really hard, so failing is not actually a bad thing. So you can fail. It's not like you cannot fail. So हम लोग के क्या होता है, शुरू से हम लोग रहता है कि फेल नहीं होना, बेटा फेल नहीं होना। तो
Hmm.
वो रहता है कि अरे यार फेल हो जाएंगे तो क्या होगा, वो एक डर रहता है. So
Hmm.
right now, what I understand is, after going to IMB, that फेल होना कोई बुरी बात नहीं है. It's okay to get failed, and but it's not okay to give up after failing. So that is was most important thing which I have learned. So
Hmm.
you have to keep trying,
Right.
keep trying different things, keep trying different ways to do business, and that will only
Hmm.
enhance and show your leadership on a bigger stage. So that's about it. I think I'm not sure if I answered your question directly, but this is what I've learned, and it will stay with me. That that is what it is.
So if I want to connect that I am learning and talk about this venture, how have you inculcated all those learning in your venture, and what all have you picked up from your initial learning of from your business, textile business and everything? उसमें से आपने कैसे कैसे उसको यहाँ पे apply किया है? Tell me something more about that.
So we started off again, this business, sofa clinic. It was called. Now it's called
Hmm.
as Lit Up Space. So we again
Hmm.
started talking to the customers, and we used to. So I'll just explain you the process. हम लोग कैसे, how we used to do it. We used to get
Right.
the sofa to our factory. We used to do
Hmm.
the refurbishing work, and
Hmm.
then we delivered back to the customer. Right. So
Okay.
so initially what happened is, we used to talk ourselves, and we used to go and get, हम लोग खुद कूली वाला बन के, we used to pick up the sofas, put it in the tempos, get it to our workshops, and then
Hmm.
we used to ask the laborers to work on it, and we used to pay
Hmm.
extra to the laborers, because we wanted to learn how exactly the thing is done, how the process is, and each and every process we used to do ourselves. So same terminology, same way of doing. So initially I learned for 2 years, right, each and every department. So this,
Hmm.
I started learning this, and very short time, I we had we rose from two people. So me and my friend are co-founders.
Mm-hmm.
From two
Right.
people, in very short time, we went from 2 to 10, right?
Wow.
So,
Okay.
and we started building processes. We started. We got a new place, a new factory as well. We started building uh, new factory, new machineries. So धीरे धीरे we started increasing building processes. So basically, there is a saying called uh, small planning, large execution, and large planning, short execution. So we wanted the latter one. We did uh, long planning so that our execution will be shorter. So we learnt on the job, we built processes, we
Mm-hmm.
understood the customer's need, the gap in the market, and we have implemented successfully. And now today we are in about 5 cities, and we are doing considerable amount of business in these cities.
Wow, that's really amazing. Okay, okay, that's nice. So now another question that arises on in this sofa clinic business is that, you know, you told us that your friend came when he came back from Thailand, and that was the time you were thinking of new ideas, ki what all you can execute, right?
Correct.
And uske baad you guys started working together. So first of all, like, was this friend into a job, or was what was it like because of which you started into partnership? Did he quit his job, or what was his initial phase like, where you had to convince him, or you guys were like totally up for it in a in a mint that, okay, yes, we're doing this? And what was that period like, and what were there any struggles in your partnership while setting it up, while it started and everything? Tell me more about that part.
So I would uh, just give you a brief about my friend and my partner right now. So he
Right.
was working in a family business as well. So he had
Okay.
a good financial backing from his family, and he wanted to come back to India, and he wanted to do something in India itself. He was in jewelry business, and jewelry business there, he thought, okay, he had he wanted to do something of jewelry only in India. So he floated a this thing, jewelry website, online jewelry. At that
Right.
time, uh, online jewelry was not so uh, you know prominent. Today there are a lot of companies, but he, at that time, it was about 2015 or 2016, I think. That time
Mm-hmm.
he started this customization of jewelry, where you can go online, select your diamonds, select your gold, select your semi-precious stones, get in one bunch, and design your own jewelry. So he wanted to go ahead with that, but then somehow what happened is he lost a lot of money in that, and he didn't pursue it. And then at the
Okay.
same time, I was looking for a proper business idea where we can uh, you know uh, start something of our own. And then we spoke after a long time, actually. After school, probably we might have met few times, but we had a long chat once. He was back to India, and
Right.
just on the chat itself, we were like, okay, you're looking to do something, so I was also looking to do something of my own. And then we were thinking, we had a lot of coffee uh, outside in cafes. We used to discuss a lot of ideas. We used to discuss a lot of ventures, like selling shoes online, selling phone covers online, selling all sorts of things, predominantly online. So
Hmm.
once he told me that, okay, he got his sofa redone by a vendor, and he
Hmm.
thought it was a good idea, where a lot of people, he just posted that picture, on his Facebook that sofa is redone, and he got a lot of comments that, okay, give me the carpenter's number. So immediately we thought, okay, you know what, this might be an idea. This might, because easily getting a carpenter, a very good carpenter who's not taking you for a ride is very difficult in a new city. So
Right.
especially in Bangalore, we have a lot of migrants coming down, as it's a software capital, and
Right.
a lot of people don't know the local vendors. They don't trust. So that is also one factor where recognition and branding is required in this space. So we went ahead. We started off the journey, and we went we initially we used to operate out of small places, and then as we thought, okay, now the business wants is ready, then we started our increasing our team and increasing our factory size, everything.
Right, right. So the partnership sounds pretty good to me, and उसमें so आप लोग की like hasn't it happened that you guys are getting in some sort of fights or arguments or something of that sort that would because वो होता है हर partnership में होता है.
हाँ, डेफिनेटली होता है हम लोग के. वी फाइट ऑलमोस्ट every other day, but only thing is, what keeps us going is that we know each other's strengths really well. Like, I know his
Mm-hmm.
strength is pretty much selling anything, and even I am not a very good salesman as him, because
Mm-hmm.
he understands the customers, and he can sell almost anything. During his time in the jewelry business, he
Right,
used to deal in semi-precious stones, because semi-precious stones are not that essential, and selling those, you really need to have some kind of streak. So he used to sell
right,
these, and he's a very good salesman, to be frank. And also, what I have understood in this business, that my strength also is in operations and finance. So we have set uh, you know verticals where we handle only our verticals. So I'm handling
mm-hmm.
only operations and finance, and he's handling only marketing and sales. So where
I get it.
we can leverage our strengths and work with each other, then only the frictions will come down. So
Right.
that is very important in a partnership business. You need to know what your strengths are.
Right. Okay. So, moving on, Anirudh, tell us something more about the initial funding of Sofa Clinic. How did you guys fund it? Was it bootstrapped? Was it from the salary you were driving from your textile company, or the textile company invested into it, or you guys took up a loan? What was it like? How did you guys
Um,
start this company in terms of funding?
Sarthak, to be really frank, the company is still bootstrapped. We have not taken loans. We've not taken any funding from any investor. We've put our own money. We've put our own, you know, and good part about the business is it's debt free, and till
Wow.
now. So we are running the company, and we want to run it like that only, because taking debt, taking loan is not the option of running a successful business. You may uh, increase your brand visibility as well, but to be frank, every month on month you cannot keep the overheads, uh, and getting into that frame of mind will not serve the purpose, because this business essentially is it doesn't require much capital actually. And frankly speaking, we have put a lot of our efforts in the business. More than capital, our efforts are enormous.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. There now one of very essential question that I have been holding on to, that is looking at the struggle of your parents, like you told us that you would see your father talk to the clients at US at 2 or 3 in the morning, and he would also come back from factory at 2. That was the initial struggle, okay? And
Hmm.
you have faced some initial struggle for your company as well, Sofa Clinic, where you were setting this up and the everything new from scratch,
Correct.
right? So what was the realization? Because एक चीज होती है देखकर समझना, एक होती है लिटरली उसको एक्सपीरियंस
करके
करके
समझना.
समझना,
Correct.
right? So what was that realization? What was the mindset then, and what hit you then जब आपको ऐसी कुछ चीजें समझ आई थी?
So, see, देख के समझना is totally different. I understand, and करके समझना also is बहुत difference है दोनों में. Only thing
Hmm.
is अगर समझोगे नहीं क्या है business और कैसे करना है, कैसा process है, how's the mentality of the customer and how's the general industry as such, तो फिर कभी नहीं समझोगे कैसे करना है बिजनेस. तो स्ट्रगल
Okay.
तो इनिशियली करना ही पड़ेगा. यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड द industry, you have to understand the customer, you have to understand your own strengths, you have to understand what proposition what value you are putting on the table. क्योंकि कोई भी बिजनेस आप चाहे you can earn big bucks as well, not an issue, but ultimately there is some amount of goodwill your customers should have. If you don't have the goodwill, then you might not continue. Your money might come now, it might go tomorrow. That वो भी है.
Right, right, right. Okay. So, in this journey of yours, specifically for Sofa Clinic, if I ask Anirudh, what was the biggest failure or hiccup that you faced, and what did it teach you, and how did you overcome it?
So interestingly, we had our share of failures as well. So at one point of time, we increased our marketing budget like anything, and obviously our supply was not so robust, and I would say it was not so process oriented, not so uh, what do you say, procedure oriented. So
Right.
what happened is we had a sort of a breakdown, and the orders were uh, coming like it was like a floodgate, so
Okay.
we had a good run of orders, and only thing is our supply chain was really hit hard because there was shortage of labor, there was shortage of manpower, and it's not
Hmm.
due to any this thing, but the overall there was a lot of delays. So we promised the
Hmm.
customer one thing, and then it sort of happened that we couldn't deliver within that time frame. So
Hmm.
initially, what we thought is our USP should be is hassle-free, timely delivery of your you know furniture piece. So that was
Right.
not happening, and this was about 1.5 years ago, where our complete system had a breakdown, where we had a lot of sales coming in, but we didn't have the supply chain ready for it. So that time we had a serious discussion, and we had we made a lot of radical changes in our company. So
Okay.
from then onwards, what happened is I we segregated our responsibility roles and responsibilities of the co-founders. So I just told you right now that
Right.
I was handling I was also handling sales. He was also handling sales, and he was also seeing overseeing operations. I was also overseeing operations. So it was not effective. So we had to segregate the roles and responsibilities. We did that, and we saw the results. Next 1 year, now we are, you know our supply chain is also very robust, and our sales is also pretty robust. So it is important to have sole focus. One of the founders has to have a sole focus on particular vertical.
Right, 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 right,
Yeah.
right. Okay, so now what I want to ask you is that Anirudh, every business has, some moments. Okay,
Correct.
so have you ever been through a moment or any experience in your journey till now which has changed you altogether from the business perspective, from the business perspective, from a personal perspective as well, while running the business? So if there's any moment or story, do share it.
There is interesting stories. I told you, right, from 2 to 10 we grew, right? So we hired a
Right.
lot of these interns fresh out of college, and they had they had this what do you say, fresh energy which they had. So it was really so I think I learned from them more than what they learned from me, because
Okay.
it was pretty much because they were coming for an internship. They wanted to learn and they had this zeal. So I thought, uh, I think somewhere I lost the zeal for learning. And sometimes it happens that it, our mind says that we know too much. Let's stop learning it. I mean, it's not said, but really unsaid corner of our mind,
Hmm.
uh, where we think we know too much. And from then on, when we started building our team, initially we hired only interns, and then we started giving them PPOs. We used to give them the full job offer as well. And
Hmm.
it was pretty heartening to see their growth and company's growth, and understanding. We used to have numerous celebrations. uh, After every 2 months, intern if the intern has to go back to the college or they want to pursue somewhere else, they when they used to leave us, we used to cut cakes for them, and we used to celebrate small things. We used to celebrate this. We never used to do at my family business. Obviously it was more uh, very traditional style. Okay.
Right.
So this was pretty much, we used to celebrate small things. We used to go out, pub mein jaake. We used to hang out with each other. We used to I mean, it was pretty fun. The journey which we had with the employees till now, it was a pretty good journey, and I learned a lot of tricks from them, and I'm sure they have also learned from me. Uh, and it was pretty heartening to see a lot of people coming back and telling that I want to get inspired from you. So that is also pretty heartening. So recently I
Right.
had a chat with one of my ex employees, and he
Hmm.
wants to start some sort of business, and he was asking me for what sort of how do I get go about it, and how do I because during this time, his job, obviously, he's got an offer from MRF, and he's not pursuing that because due to COVID crisis right now.
Right.
So he's looking to start his own business, and we were chatting on that. So it was pretty heartening to see that people are coming back, and they are valuing the opinions. It and generally, I have learned a great deal from him as well.
I get it. I get it. Okay. So, if I ask you, are you a money-minded person?
Um, if you would have asked me 5 years back, yes, I was. But
Okay. And how
things
about now?
changed, and right now I'm not exactly a money mind person, but yes, there is. I am still handling the finance part of my company, so it's in between. I think definitely.
Okay, okay, okay. That's nice. Okay. So, with that said, Anirudh, I don't think so. There are much questions that I am left with to now ask you.
Mhm.
I guess that I've already asked you everything that I would have wanted to. Right. So, uh, with that said, I guess we are at the end of the podcast. So, Anirudh, before we move towards the complete end, first thing that I want to ask you is that if you want to recommend us another entrepreneur whom you think has a very, inspiring journey,
Mhm.
and you would want him to or her to come on the show and talk about their journey, whom would you recommend?
Yeah, I think I would recommend one of my good friend, and his name is Raj Kiran, and he's been very close from I am Bangalore days, and
Right.
his struggles are also, I've heard about his struggles as well, and way he has, you know, got out of the struggles and made a niche for himself. So I would
Mm-hmm.
really ask you to, you can talk to him and know his sort of story, and
Right. Right. Then I would,
he
request
has
you
balls
to
of steel as well.
and I would definitely request you to connect me with him, and that we can get him on the show and talk about his journey and everything, right?
Right.
And give people insight and make sure that you both have each other's podcast links when both of them are out, so that you can also share and learn from, see from stories that you guys have. With that
Sure.
said, guys, this was Anirudh from Lit Up Space and Sofa Clinic, whichever name you would know, because they're rebranding it right now. That's why I'm putting up both the names. It's a really good niche that they have started, and what I want you guys to pick up from his journey is that no matter even if you're coming from a family business, you definitely need to learn the nuances of the business from the very ground level. That is the utmost requirement in any business. So that is one very specific thing I would point out that you guys pick up. With that said, if you definitely have some sort of sofa requirements, and if I don't know, I know which all cities Anirudh is catering to right now. If your city has sofa clinic with you, then do get to it and get your sofas and furniture refurbished. So Anirudh, do you want to add anything to this?
Yeah, so we are in five cities. We are in Bangalore,
Right.
we are in Delhi, Pune, Chennai, and Hyderabad. So you can
Okay.
refer our code called BOSS, Balls of Steel,
Right.
LS10. So you'll get a 10% discount on our services.
That's great, guys. So you guys have a specific code because Anirudh is here on the show, and Delhiites, South Delhi, not Delhi, specifically South Delhi people, you can use this code because we all know how much everyone in South Delhi loves furnishing and all the stuff out there. Do use the code, get the discount, right? And all the cities rest that Anirudh mentioned to us right now, do use it and get your services done. With that said, I want to thank you, Anirudh, for taking out time and coming on the show and giving us insight into your journey. It's been a really great experience talking to you, and it was lovely, lovely talking to you.
Thank you, Sarthak. Thank you very much. It was my pleasure, and interesting that I shared a lot of things from my, immediate past memory.
Right, right, right. Thank you so much, Anirudh. I'll definitely meet you once I'm in Bangalore. Thanks a lot.
Perfect. Thanks.
I hope that you're able to take back something insightful from this podcast and apply it in your life to be a better version of yourself and add to your Dhandhoni Soch. If you know someone whom you think should feature on my podcast and has a very inspiring entrepreneurial journey, then do drop me a DM on my Instagram, SarthakVarshney. Sarthak Varshney. Yeah, that's me. I'm the founder of SV Clicks, and SV Clicks is the producer of this show. You can find me on Facebook or LinkedIn as well with the same name. If you're willing to listen to more of such unheard, inspiring stories of the entrepreneurs, then don't forget to follow us by pressing that follow button on your podcast screen. Thank you for being such an amazing audience. Keep learning, keep growing. We'll be back soon. See ya.